Hello, everyone, and welcome to the midweek market wrap up with myself. If you don't know who I am, my name is Michael Nauss. I'm a chartered market technician and quantitative trader. What we do in this channel is just talk stocks, crypto, FX, go over what we think may be happening in the market. So, for more content like that, hang on to the channel. If you're interested in more on top of that and you want to see more of me, or you're interested in any of the trading tools you see me use here today, link is in the description below. That gets you to statsedgetrading.com, my website. So it was a wild day. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So first of all, it's FOMC day, and this was a crazy one. They came out with FOMC news. The market tanked to new lows and then rallied to new highs and then tanked again to new lows. So it's good to take a step back and say, okay, what actually happened across the broad market? So we're going to do that starting with Bitcoin, which again was wild, just like anything else in the market. But for the longer term picture, it's still just bouncing off these lows. And the way I look at it is that you can only hit a support zone like this so many times until something bad happens. So we keep bouncing off this. I'm not going to be bullish in the crypto markets until I see something occur that's going to kind of change my mind to say that, hey, we may bounce a little bit more than that. You know, for me, it may be taking out these highs right here or more likely 30,000. So 18,000, we seem to be bouncing off it, but how many times can we do that before something bad happens? A security that I am watching, so if Bitcoin starts to bounce, I want to look at the relatively strong coins out there. So one of the ones that I'm watching is called Uniswap. I don't know what any of these do, but it doesn't really matter. What I'm looking for is essentially just relatively strong names. So we saw how Bitcoin is hanging out right at its lows. Uniswap is up about 100% from its lows, and it's hanging out with this area. Anytime you see these blue shaded lines, this is just a support and resistance zone as I see it, and we're kind of hanging out right in there. So dollars cranking to new highs, hit new highs on the US dollar. The US dollar right now seems to be kind of relatively inverse correlated to both crypto and the overall stock market. So if we're going to see any sort of sustained rally, I think we need to see a pullback here. No signs of that right now, just crank to new highs. So unless this is kind of a fake out and we just sell off immediately, which I think is unlikely, then, you know, it's new highs and away we go. So from the traditional currency front, the only thing that I can really see, because the dollar is just rocketing but extended, there's really nothing for me to trade there. I am looking at Aussie Yen that broke out of this zone right here, call it like 95 area, and now it's pulled back into that level. So here we are looking at the S&P 500. So the S&P 500 actually just broke down this major level that's going on back in through here. You can see this was the FOMC day. It had about 3 days inside where it was just kind of hanging out. Broke down under there. So kind of watching these lows right here, right now. If we break those lows, then this was just a rally in a downtrend, kind of like this one was, kind of like this one was. If we can find support in this area in through here, then, you know, maybe we're going to have a change in trend. If I had a gun to my head and I had to guess, I think we're just going to slop all over the place. I just expect a choppy market for a long period of time. You know, there's so many people that are conditioned to sell off that, you know, then the Fed steps in, saves the day, and rallies us up. You know, I think a lot of the bad news might be baked in, but it doesn't mean we need to rally to new highs. We can both be you know, not making new highs and not crashing to new lows. There's this middle ground that a lot of people aren't really prepped for if they've started trading in the last, you know, 3 years or maybe even longer, maybe even 5 years. That yes, the market can just chop sideways and it can do it for an extended period of time. That's why I'm always going to be looking for the relatively strong names out there. Speaking of, when I went through and I scanned my individual names, I could see wheat is doing super well. It broke out of this area, pulled back to the breakout area, and now it's kind of slowly grinding off that. The relative strength to wheat versus the overall market is just absolutely insane. So I use this as a proxy for a lot of things when it comes to commodities. So I'm going to be keeping my eye out there. Some individual names that I'm watching, again, just looking for what didn't get hammered today. This BCAB, which is a pharmaceutical, massive push up off the last earnings and has just been kind of consolidating sideways. I think if this one could break out, we could be in for another lag here. INTR, this is an IPO. So this point right here is the IPO price. We've broke out and now we're just kind of chopping around that. I'm looking to see if we can make new highs here and push out from this new high. This FLNC, which is a bit of an alternative energy play, has a area in here that's very important and an area back here that's very important. Broke that in a nice uptrend and now is pulling back. So I'm just waiting for this to kind of break out of, call it 19 or 20 that I have here and continue. So as always, thank you everyone for coming out. I have a live stream on Sundays. If you're interested in that, in my website, in the link in the description below, you can sign up for a email newsletter. I don't spam you. I don't sell the newsletters. I basically just tweet out when I have new videos that I think you might like, or email out when I have new videos you might like, and then also the live stream. Tomorrow, I think, is a massive day, so I'm going to be sitting and watching for most of the day, because if we get a reversal from what we saw today, it could just be a overall bear trap. If we get a continuation, then I think the odds are that we could continue lower. So thank you everyone for coming out. Trade safe out there, and I'll talk to you soon.